So I thought I wasn't going to any locals before NAIC, but that was a lie. I was actually able to go to three more before the tournament next week. For the first one I went to, it was actually in a different city, and the store I went to actually did it was free entry, and I was like, oh, okay, the pricing must not be that good, but I managed to place third with the score of 3-1, and I was able to get a prize pack from that store. So, even if there is no entry fee, I would have gladly paid an entry fee, but there is none, and I was able to get a prize pack, which was pretty nice. So this local I went to at the store, I played against my first match was against a Charizard Terapagos. Uh, this game, I actually don't remember too much from it. I just remember at the end, I thought I had lost because I ran a Bravery Charms, so I couldn't kill like the final Charizard. But I remembered that Mew, once you're down to one prize, it basically one shots Charizard. So lucky for me, I still have Mew in my list, and I was able to win that game with the Mew. Game two, I played against a Joltik box, and I made a mistake in the beginning where I discarded Cleffa, and I just remember I bricked out for multiple hands. So that was a really that was kind of poorly played, also with some bad luck. So I lost the game two, and the game two I lost to was actually against the first place player who went 4-0. So it didn't feel too bad. Game three at this tournament, I actually went against a player who built a deck with a Stellar Crown ETV, and honestly, I respect that, but I felt a little bad because it was a pretty much. I feel like there wasn't much of a chance that the player could beat me, especially with their random assortment of Pokemon. I basically just played Monkey Dory, and we just did like a back and forth slapping sort of game. That was quite interesting. And then the last game I played against a Goldango. I was forced to start first in this Goldango match, but I had like a crazy hand where I turn two, I Rare Candy evolved into Gardevoir, and then I Professor researched a bunch of like energies away, and I just set up so fast in that matchup. So yeah, this local pretty convincing like top four placement. Um, and in the prize pack I got something really nice. I got a stamped Night Stretcher. I mean, Night Stretchers are rare as is, so having a stamped one, not bad. I also got a pretty nice stamped earthen vessel. So, two playables in this price pack, especially is really nice because I basically got it for free with no entry pricing. So that was cool. And then the next week I was in another city, and I actually attended a what is it called? A cup, which is like I guess the most serious thing like that you can go to before like a regional because you can get a lot of points. And for this cup, I feel like I still went in with the Brent Tonneson 60 like Gardevoir. So no TM Evos, no Arvins, and I think like half the players there were playing the Gardevoir variant with the TM Evos, Arvins, Rabska, Relor. And I guess like because it's a cup, so everyone's a little bit more serious. But it was just I was just like praying to not get the Gardevoir mirror matchup, and it's kind of interesting because my game one, I actually got a bye because my opponent showed up a little too late, which I guess I'll take it, especially because it's a League Cup. It's more serious. And then my game two, I played against a Gardevoir mirror, which honestly, like I had like a crazy start. I was taking prizes. I was ahead in the prize race by like two prizes. So like this was like one of those good situations where you want to be ahead in the prize race. But what happened was I made this stupid misplay at the end where I had my a situation where I was going to take game the next turn, but my opponent also could take game if they uh, Drifloom one shot my Gardevoir and then also took one more prize. And the thing is, I had a Badoo on my bench, and the turn before, instead of bravery charming that Badoo, I bravery charmed a Fez. Even though I was at three prizes, there's no way you could have killed a Fez and a Gardevoir, or a Fez and something else. So like I completely forgot I had the Badoo, and then all my opponent did was They killed the Badoo with Monkey Dory, and then they killed my Gardevoir with the Drifloon with the Bravery Charm. So I mean that was a really silly mistake I made, and my opponent actually ended up I think they might have gone to the top cut because of that. Um, but yeah, no, that was a ridiculous mistake by me. And then my game three, I went up against a Goldango Dragapult. This game, I was actually down. I think so I was like at six prize. My opponent was at three. And then they took two more prizes. And at this point, I actually managed to come back. I owned them to one. I set up two Gardevoirs. And I basically just swapped them back and forth, whacking the Goldangos with monkeys on the side. The only reason I was able to come back from that game was because my opponent had Jamming Tower prized. Um, and they also had their Monkey Dory prize. So that's why I was able to sort of come back from that. I remember the start of the game, I had like a terrible start. I had to Cleffa out, and I had no Ralts on bench. Eventually, it was four prizes to one when I started coming back, and that was I for sure thought I lost that game within the first few turns, but somehow I was able to come back from that. And then my game four in that cup, I went against a Flareon box with Sylveon. That was just unfortunate because I had a rough start, and my opponent casted Angelite three times that game. So I didn't get a Gardevoir out until I had like six cards left in my deck, and then at that point it was just over. So that was a little silly. I also made the same mistake twice that game. There was this one time where I could have counter captured before bumping off the Area Zero Stadium, and I would have counter captured like a Noctowl, so he couldn't retreat. Um, but I made that mistake twice. I had counter catcher in hand with an Artisan, and I accidentally Artisan first, so I bumped off the stadium, and my opponent just discarded the Noctowls. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna make that mistake again. Yet I made it again. So I was not playing very well. Game four might have been comebackable if I like trapped the Noctowl in the active, but I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. I feel like I was just not on. It was just not a good day, or that was just not a good game for me. And then my game four, technically we were supposed to end with three games before Top Cut, and I actually no, I don't think I would have had a chance to make Top Cut because I was 2-2. But we played a game four. I played against a Terror Box, and then I only had two Ralts I think in this game, so I got torrential pumped three turns in a row, and I just lost without taking a single prize. That was also kind of depressing. I was 2-3, um, with essentially only one real win because the other one was a bye. So I feel like my performance at the League Cup was not very good. I think it was also not good because like none of my matchups Badoo really helped. So I should have switched. Like I should have been playing the TM Evo variant that the other Guardies were playing. Um, yeah, but you know what? I did get a what is it? A prize pack for my troubles. I got a prize pack and a Destined Rivals uh pack. In my prize pack, what did I get? In my prize pack, I actually got something good in my prize pack. I got a Iron Hands EX, which I guess if I want to play Joltik box. I also got a Buffalant, which I don't see any tank Terapagoses anymore. Um, so maybe it's not worth using. But yeah, I got that from the prize pack. Unfortunately, I got nothing good from from the Destined Rivals pack. I didn't even get an EX in here, so it's kind of depressing. Or it was just a bad like pack. Nothing good came out of it. But yeah, so that was my League Cup that I went to, where I went 2-3 with one win being a bye. So not great performance. And then just yesterday, I went back to the local I normally go to, and this one was just a regular like weekly. And this time I decided to change up my deck. I decided to play the TM Evo variant. So I was looking at some of the tournament listings, and so I removed these guys from my deck. I removed the Cleffa, some counter catch. Sorry, I removed the Cleffa, two Night Stretchers, my Badoo, and a Monkey Dory. And instead, I actually I went to the store like maybe 10 minutes before, and I sifted through their bulk in record time, and I found a Relor and a Rapska. This isn't the correct Relor. This is like the Reller that has the ball roll. So it's like slightly worse than the other Reller because you can't really use its attack. Not that you're really attacking with Reller anyway, but yeah, I got a Reller and a Rapska for this tournament, and I basically swapped out some cards to get TM Evos in. Unfortunately for me, I actually never used the Relo or Rapska during these 5 games, so it was kind of I could have just had like a Shaman or something, and even then I wouldn't have done it. That wouldn't have done anything because I feel like it never came in clutch. Um, and yeah, so my game one, it was actually against the Guardy Mirror I played like maybe a few like multiple weeks back, and last time I won, but this time I don't know what I was thinking. We play what is it? I basically set up pretty quickly. I got one Gardevoir out, but no second Ralts or Curlia, and I had Clefairy stuck in the active because it was my first basic. And I think I got a little too excited because I was like, okay, if I start taking prizes now, maybe my opponent won't be able to come back. But that was false because I didn't check their discard and they had a crap ton of energies in there. So when I started taking prize, when I took the first prize, my opponent countercatchered me and killed my Gardevoir with the Bravery Charm Drifloom. And I was like, crap, did I just lose the game off of like the first few turns? And I actually like it actually wasn't that bad because I still had a powered up Clefairy, which kept on taking prizes. But the issue was, by the time like yeah, so I it wasn't too bad because I was still taking prizes and I was still ahead, or like I was still we were still relatively even in the prize race. And at the end, I actually almost came back because I onoed them down to like I think a few cards, one or two, and the only way I also killed their Gardevoir with my Bravery Charm Drifloom, and the only way they could have came back, because they didn't have any Curlias on bench, they needed to rare candy their Ralts into a Gardevoir, and they managed to top deck the rare candy, which ended up in a game loss for me. Which is it's fine. I think I definitely like misplayed that from the beginning, so um I'm not too like upset about the top deck rare candy. So yeah, that was my first game. My second game, oh that one was really depressing. I started off with my only basic being Relor in the active spot, and I went up against the Donk deck, and I got donked. It was always it was kind of funny because my opponent was like, "I might donk you," and I was like, "Okay, let's well, time to pray to RNG Jesus." And then I think my opponent actually went through like they went through the Squawkabilly, they went through the Carmine. They just needed one energy to donk me because they needed to move their Squawk out of the active to put their Petrorant, and they actually got it off on their last card with the Mew restart. So that was it was what it was. Eventually, I think since the game was over so quickly, me and my opponent we just played like a practice game just to see like how the matchup would play out. My opponent was actually playing a Roaring Moon deck, which I guess I'm like slightly unfavored, or maybe even greatly unfavored because of the weakness. So maybe I would have lost anyway, even if I didn't get dunked. So that's it was a good learning experience though, like especially when we were practicing and we were looking at our cards face down and trying to make the optimal decision. It was a fun experience. And yeah, that was my game two. I lost that one. Funny enough, the opponent I lost to, we actually played like the game two match a few weeks back after I played the same game one opponent a few weeks back. So it was like kind of a repeat of the last time I played, but this time I lost both instead of winning one and losing one. And then my game three, I went up against a Cyriledge player. So that one I won pretty like it was a pretty simple win for me because I'm pretty favored into Cyriledge, I believe. There really isn't much they can do around especially when I have the monkeys up and bouncing the damage onto their bench. So I won the Cyriledge game, and my game four I went up against a Goldango, and I actually got I had a really good early game setup, and I knocked out their Fez early, which basically screwed over their draw. And another thing is they weren't able to TM Evo early, so they only had one Goldango, so they were essentially like bricked. Um, and another thing is in this game, yeah, I almost griefed at the end by putting too much energies onto my guard, and my Screamtail to just get them to one prize because I was like, okay, if I get them to one prize, maybe they'll have no chance of like coming at back. Um, and I guess it paid off because eventually like they couldn't do anything because they had no draw on bench. I killed their Dracloak. I killed their other Goldango, and yeah, that was a pretty simple win for me. And then game five, I went up against the Terror Box, and this time my opponent was actually like it was the first time they played Terror Box, and they were also like yeah, so this was the first time they played Terror Box, so uh I wouldn't really count this as a win because I don't think they really knew the optimal sequencing for it. So yeah, I won that one. In the end, I went 3-2. I got another 10th place. I feel like for my past like six locals, I've been 10th or 11th out of like 20 players. So, I'm consistent, but I'm like always missing that top eight cut, which gets you like a few more packs. Yeah, so I guess like overall for this local, even though I went 3-2, my opponent's win rate was like really low, is like 40%. Because I feel like after my first two games, I basically played against like either players that just started playing or players who weren't too familiar with their deck. And like I don't really feel like they were like very convincing wins, in my opinion. So despite having a 3-2, it felt like I didn't really go 3-2 that. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I really don't know about the Relor and the Rapska. I feel like they're good, especially if there's a lot of like Angelites or a lot of like Terror Boxes, but I don't think there's that many. So maybe it's just better to just not include it at all. I yeah, and it's funny because like at the end of the tournament, oh yeah, we also got a Team Rocket pack for this one, and I don't think I got anything good in here. Yeah, no EXs. I just got some of the new cards, but I did get another prize pack, which this time I actually got quite a few playables. I got a what is it? I got a counter catcher. Oh, this is good. This is really useful. I also got a stamp diddle, which is nice. I already have a few of these, but whatever. I also got a rescue board, stamped rescue board. Yeah, so some useful stuff from this prize pack. The Destined Rivals pack, nothing good. And yeah, so at the end of this tourney, I feel like I'm definitely not in good shape for NAIC. I will be lucky if I can go 50-50 on my games, I think. But given the fact that I hear like the pricing is good for the side events, like if I get three losses, maybe I'll just drop and like play some of the side events just for fun. Yeah. And of course, as usual, after going to the locals I normally go to, I picked up a bunch of new cards. I managed to sift through bulk and find the correct Relor that I'll use if I decide to stick with the Relor Rapska. I picked up a Shaman, which like maybe instead of Relor Rapska, I could just use Shaman instead. Picked up a Genesect, Halucha, Iron Bundle, great tech cards for certain decks. And I picked up this time I kind of went all out. I got a crap ton of bulk for what is it? For Hydreigon, for Goldango, for what is it? For Festival Lead. I don't even know. I just thought those decks were kind of funny, so I picked up a bunch of bulk for those. I also picked up a lot some shiny guys. I got a Hero's Cape. I got a Precious Trolley. I got two Arbaliva EXs. I don't even know if I'll ever play with these, but it's a funny card. I picked up two Pidgeot EX full arts because the full arts are $3 and it's the same price as the regular Pidgeot EX. So I'm just like, might as well pick up these two. They only had two of them. I also finally caved and I bought a Latias that I probably won't use for a while, but it is like edition H, so this doesn't rotate out for a while. Yeah, I got the Latias for $6. Can't believe I could have picked these up for like 50 cents in the bulk bin at some point. I also grabbed some extra Dragapults because the price was like pretty cheap. It was like $2. Might use them if I want to like augment some other decks. I know a lot of decks now run Dragapult, like Typhlosion could run Dragapult. You could run it in Charizard. You could run it in Goldango. So could never. Always nice to have some extra copies. And yeah, so that's basically my summary of the past few locals I went to. Also picked up some new dragon shields because people kept on commenting how my dragon shields are too large for the cards. And I noticed that if they're too large, it's harder to shuffle. So like if I'm playing best of threes at NAIC and I need to shuffle quick to end my turn, like to optimize for time, like I think I need smaller sleeves. So I bought a pack of sleeves. These were actually pretty cheap. They're like $10 for a box, which is a pretty good price. I should go buy some more. So I'll probably be switching up my sleeves as well for NIC. And yeah, that's my last. This should be my last update before NIC. Hopefully, I don't get absolutely whammered. I probably will, but hopefully I'll have some fun while playing and losing, if that is the case. And yeah, so that's it. This was another long like yap session, but if you're still here, thank you for watching.